Shalom, shalom.
Here is the original door of no return. So after the masters worship God finish, they will ship the Africans from this place. This is the door of no return. You get to the point now, original door of no return. The moment you enter here, it is finished. Like the moment you cross this tunnel and come out, it is over for you. It's either you die in Atlantic Ocean or you survive to go and be working in their plantation farm, Caribbean, America, and the rest.
So to that, لا تتقال لا يمنع إنه يقوم بعشم وشاي بعشم Dash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of great Muslim people. Shalom unto the brothers that pushing the truth, its truth and its sincerity. Lord, folk ones of it, and shalom unto the Israelites who have been scattered among the heathen nation, and shalom unto the sisters. Backward, who's listening and learning. This is your brother Kratita, and the GMS Mission Camp out of Trinidad and Tobago. So let's play over that video again.
Here is the original door of no return. So after the masters worship God finish, they will ship the Africans from this place. This is the door of no return. You get to the point now, original door of no return. The moment you enter here, it is finished. Like the moment you cross this tunnel and come out, it is over for you. It's either you die in Atlantic Ocean or you survive to go and be working in their plantation farm, Caribbean, America, and the rest.
All right, so as the title, so many evidence to show, and still they don't get it right, which meaning our people, the Israelites, right? There are so many evidence of this, the door of no return. It happens in many different countries, right? Where they will bring they will call it the Hebrews when they had them on the auction stage, right, or event, right, to sell us, right, and what so have you, right, and this is one of the evidence, right. None of the other religions, like these so-called religions, like these false, right, talk about like these Christians, the Islamic, the Hindus, the Baptists, the Rishas, they don't talk about these things. They don't teach about these things, right? And even in their own books, don't have it. Because why? These things was created by Esau. These things, reason why I say it was created by Esau, because some of these religions came out from Roman Catholic, right? It came out from Roman Catholic. And this is why they don't want you to know your history. They're trying to erase the history. Even as you can see, the Trinidad dollar, right? They're working so hard, on changing it from the 3 ships that it have on the coat of arms, right? And put it steel pan. Right? So the steel pan is more to represent the culture of the carnival, right? The demonic carnival, right? They don't want you to know the real truth, because personally, me in this time, I will know the 3 ships on the dollar, but the other generation coming up, followed by the other generation, that history is going to be lost, right? That history is going to be lost, right? And even to find yourself or where you come from, or whatsoever it's going to be harder, right? But nevertheless, once the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yeshua ordain you to know the truth, nothing cannot stop the truth. Nothing cannot stop you from finding the truth. And sometimes it presents itself very easy, right? But as you can hear what the man say, right? when it enter from here, obviously the structure that it had there is not there anymore, right? Because here's deterioration and what so have you, right? But as you can see, when the guys say once you leave from there, is the door no return. And why they call it no return? Because you are not coming back. It's either you die on the way to the plantation, and you die, you get deleted, or you survive on the ship and you reach upon the land on the plantation. Right? So it's either those two things. And this is how dread these things was. Right? Now as we speak about it, it may sound light, right? But the most that are grievous things, happen on those ships. You understand? It's it's distasteful, right? And the Lord tell us about these things. He tell us the consequences on um if we keep His name, right? We follow the laws, the statutes, right? The commandments, and if we don't follow that, it's a lot. And if we don't follow that, this will going to be the consequence, right? So have a bad consequence and it have a good consequence, and that is a just balance, right? But we constantly have been going off. We have formed adultery unto other gods, right? And the reason why I say adultery is because we have turned our backs from our power and went on to false gods. And our power is a jealous power. So I think we are in this position. He said, hey, there's no other God but me. You understand what I'm saying? Right? So, right, this is Ezekiel 36 and 19. It said, and I scattered them among the heathen, and they were desolate through the countries according to their way and according to their doing. I judge them. Right? We were separate from our homeland, from our homeland of Israel, right? Well, which is Jerusalem, in that region there, right? Where they have those fake hatters on them there, right? That is not their land. Why I think they're always in dispute? Because the land is not theirs, right? And also it's a reason why that the Ark of the Covenant is not there. This is a reason why the Lord have hid the Ark of the Covenant. Nobody know where the Ark of the Covenant is. Because that Ark of the Covenant is something very holy, right? It's something where when you look at it, had priests who had to make sure that their self was clean and their spirit clean, right? Days, I believe about three days, they can't have sex with their wives as well, right? And I the next and there's the next false thing too in Catholic, right? Once it's a priest, you can't have a wife. Right, but anyways, right, to the priests, they was elected, to go into to present themselves in front of the Ark of the Covenant and deal with Yahweh, himself, right, directly through the Spirit, right? They had to make sure that themselves was clean, right? Men on the outside, they used to tie rope. So if you die, if you was unclean in some way and you die, they would have been able to pull you back because a lot of men could not have gone into that room where the Ark of the Covenant was, right? Because would have plenty bodies, right? So if the Ark of the Covenant was in if the Ark of the Covenant was in Jerusalem, right? These small hatters and them, they would not have been, they would not be there. They would not have been there. But the Lord had hid the Ark of the Covenant. This is why they are there. This is why this is why, they have a lot of disputes, a lot of wars, and these things that be going on, right, between Israel and Palestine and all these kind of things, right? Understand what's going on. Understand it, right? Right? So Ezekiel 36 and 20, and when they entered onto the heathen, whether they went, they profane, right? They profane my holy name. When they said to them, these are the people of Yahweh, and have gone out of his land, right? Because we did so many wrong. The Lord had to deal with us this way. He had to deal with us this way, right? But there are so many evidence showing that, how the whole, where they sell us, where the doors of no return, right? In many different countries as well. You see, the guy also mentioned in the Caribbean, right? Yes, yes, Trinidad, here's a Caribbean. So you have Barbados, you have Jamaica, you have St. Kitts, the Bahamas, right? At St. Martin's, Grenada, all these places are Caribbeans on that Caribbean region. So you see where we were literally scattered, right? Verse 21, but I had pity for my name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whether they went, right? Let's go into that word profane. All right. That word profane, right, is past tense, a past, particularly a verb. Profane, it means to treat something scared or wholly with great disrespect. To discreet or to put something revert to base or vulgar use, right? So 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 in so it's a lot of things went on. They forgot about the name, because they beat it out of us so much that you forget the Lord name and start calling upon him, JC, right? And that is what going on off of X station. Off of X station, they may have said a lot of different things, profaning the Lord name, right? Get an next precept, all right? All right, this is Ezekiel 12 and 15. All right, let me get that in the, let me see if I get that in the NLT. All right, in the NLT said, and when I scattered them among the nations, they will know that I am Yahweh. Right, so they realize, because remember I told you they went over different gods, right? So when the Lord spoke about he sent us onto different nations, right, onto different lands. Eventually they will know that, hey, the Lord did this, right? The Lord did this, right? The Lord did this. And it's so much, it's so many different evidence, to go down into to show Jakes, where they come from, what they went through, and they still wouldn't get it. Because, hey, it's a plain factor. The Lord just blind them, right? The Lord just blind them, but I didn't really want to, stay too long on the video, it mostly just to share some light there, right? And when you go into the word evidence, right? Evidence refer to any factual information, objects, documents, or testimonies using to establish or refute a claim while primarily an uncountable. Now, it is widely used across various fields to prove truth or falsehood, right? And the Torah, right? Right, which is the Bible, right? It's truth. It is truth. It have the truth, right? And the scripture also mention, it roughly paraphrasing. You cannot do nothing for but the truth, let me get that piece of me on. Let me go butcher it. This is 2 Corinthians 13:8. It said, "For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth." Right? And that's what it is. But the Bible have the truth. Right? Right? The Apocrypha also. Right? Don't forget that one. Right? Don't forget it. All right? Right? So, hey, hope that, the short lesson here, was edifying. Didn't want to really stick too long on this video, but just to share, that little clip there, and soon Jakes, will get it. Some will get it when they reach that point, that by pain, some will get it within the last hour, right? But some of you all just won't get it because the Lord have blinded you, right? For those who get it, say to what I shine for showing me this way. And also knowing myself, returning back onto my true state, right? So, hey, onto that is a call Halayam, La Alahaina, wa Yahweh, Bashim, Shai, Bashim, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of faithful soul as well. Shalom. Little brothers and questions, what's the truth? Shalom. Like what? Is your brother Katiza? Till next time, Shalom.